Still here in the Ngel Nyaki Montane Forest, some plants are an enigma to the science world.
Very interesting in that this tree has two kinds of flowers. One type of flower is normal. It has male and female parts on the same flower. The other type of flower is different in that it has the male part, but the female part is very, very small and malfunctioning. And some individual trees are all hermaphrodite, and other trees are almost all effectively male, and other trees are 50-50. So we have been doing some work to find out why.
The animal population of the forest is increasing. Early each morning, research assistants prepare their working materials. The project director, Dr. Hazel Chapman, holds frequent consultations with the researchers before they set out.
So it just shows though.
Yeah.
So I was thinking that if you actually trap it now on the edge, you'd probably find heaps.
Most of the researchers this season are PhD students. Babale Aliyu from Gombe State University is now a PhD student at the University of Canterbury in New Zealand. Supervised by Professor Pierre-Michel Fauger of the Museum of Natural History in Paris and Dr. Hazel Chapman, Babale has an experimental seed plot in the fragment forest.
In this experiment, we have 4 plots, and in each of these plots, we planted 5 different types of seeds collected from different tree species. Now, these seeds were differently arranged in these 4 experimental plots. In this plot, the seeds are just placed on the plot. Without barrel, we just place the plot. We will now start taking the records of individual seeds which germinated here, and we will be looking at the predation rate, what is happening to the seeds which germinated, and we will also be looking at what kind of diseases, particularly fungal infection, that is affecting these seeds. The growing individual plant that is coming up.
We're looking here at a seed trap, and in all we have 5 areas that we have fenced off, and within each of the we have 30 seed traps. And the idea is that seed that is carried by birds or by wind, they fall into the traps. Once a week, Usman, a field assistant, collects all the seed from each of the traps. We have been doing for over 5 years, and we have a very good information about what seed is falling into these fenced off areas. And this will help us understand how the forest regenerates.
Forensic science is being employed here to unravel the species of which animals favor which fruit or seed as a means of piecing together behavioral patterns and possibilities of species survival. Another student whose work also employs forensics
is Thia,
also a student of Canterbury University.
My research is primarily focused on secondary seed dispersal. Now, in the forest, seeds will fall from the tree or might get taken from the tree by some animal and dropped on the forest floor. But that is not, the movement of the seed doesn't stop there. Something else might come along, take the seed and take it somewhere else, or maybe eat it, for example. And that is secondary seed dispersal, the seed that's fallen is taken somewhere else. And secondary seed dispersal is important because the fate of different seed species will determine whether or not a tree species is able to germinate in the forest. So some seeds are all eaten, and that means that the tree species will be rare, but others are taken away and moved away from the parent tree. And this is beneficial because the further you take it away from a parent tree, the more likely it is to fall in good habitat, and then more likely to be successful and germinate. Yeah.
The protection of the forest is important as it provides protection to the streams in its valleys. These streams are the source of many rivers in the plains of Taraba, Adamawa, and Benue states. Without this forest cover, productive rivers such as this one in the Gashaka-Gumti National Park will cease to provide year-round water. As a tributary of the Benue and a spawning area for the fishes of the river Benue, there will be a drastic decline in fish population. The existence of this forest means keeping hundreds of tree species and the animals in the protected habitat and beyond for the benefit of humankind. Rab Adewoye of the National Institute of Forestry Research is also a PhD student at the University of Canterbury.
Let me start with this, that for the local people who live around this area, the forest serves as a water catchment, both for their livelihood and for their cattle. So any attempt to destroy the forest or to to cut down the forest here will mean that the forest, the water catchment will dry up, and this water catchment will lead down towards the streets and leads down to the streams and to the larger rivers. In other words, what will eventually happen is there will be total dry up of the water in this area, which is a main source of livelihood for the people. That's where they get water to drink, to cook, and to feed their cattle. Secondly, we will look at it from the global perspective. We're talking about REDD+ now. And if you look at it, these forest serves as a high storage of carbon dioxide. Bringing down this forest or cutting down the forest will mean that there will be emission of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. What we have now is in this forest is the forest serves as carbon sink. So this forest serves as a way of reducing climate change.